All right, guys, welcome to the end stage of American capitalism. The big, beautiful bill is going to transfer more power into ICE and rob people of their dignity, close rural hospitals, and the only jobs that will be left is to watch your neighbors, the panopticon. Everyone is just going to be watching everybody. The only job that's available to you with union benefits in this country is to join up with the fascist state, whether it be working as a prison guard or a law enforcement officer, or now our first ever federal police force, which is a standing army within our borders, ICE agents, which are beholden to no one except for the executive, so they can operate as a paramilitary wing within states like California and New York, no matter what we do. And that's going to cause a whole thing, right? Who's going to be in control of these people, right? And there's going to be some furious backlash to this big, beautiful bill because it's Trump's base he's going to hurt the most. These are people in rural areas that are not only going to have their local hospital closed, they're going to have the next town over hospitals closed. And you're going to see an explosion of people having to go to population centers like Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Chicago, New York, in order to actually get medical care, which will burden the hospital systems there. And even those will become obsolete because Medicare, Medicaid funds most of these places. So the entire social contract has been ripped up and thrown in the fire. And now we're all just watching the ambers glow in our increasingly crazed eyes as we look at these politicians who have soft hands and have never worked a day in their life, that are willing to strip out the copper wiring in this country and sell it to private equity for pennies on the dollar, so they can go live next to a boiling lake or underneath a fallen sky. I don't even understand the 10-year horizon on what you're doing. You're pissing everyone off at the same time, of course, except for your billionaire donors, your millionaire donors, special interest groups like APAC. But the body politic is much larger than that, and we're very heavily armed, right? And I'm not calling for anything. I'm just saying this is an interesting group of people to intentionally piss off. And this fundamentally is going to unwind capitalism as we know it. People are not okay with watching their relatives die. Okay? Why would we pay into a tax system? Why would we work a dead-end job for lame pay? Get back injuries in the boiling sun, right? I've used boiling twice as a descriptor, but it's true. We can't drink air. We can't eat dirt. You know, this is like a Native American proverb. You can't eat money. You know, collapsing of a habitable biosphere is not a good strategy. Before I go any further, I really hope you guys will subscribe to my Patreon and subscribe to this thing, right? I'm going to link my Patreon, but I'm back doing YouTube videos because just to stand idly by and say nothing about this is driving me fucking crazy. And that, I mean, Derrida talked about this, the French philosopher, but there's a ghostliness to people now. The hypernormalization has completely set in. I can't bring this up to my childhood friends. I can bring it up to my new friends, people that I've met through activism and comedy that are, you know, seeing this and recoiling in horror. But I can't bring it up to my family. And in that way, it's almost like they have died to me, right? I don't know what to do with these people. You really don't care? You don't care until someone you know dies? You don't care? You don't there's a cafe bombed in Palestine by the IDF, killed 60 people in the blink of an eye. You don't care that 17 million people are going to lose health insurance? You don't care that AI is coming for all your jobs? And if you and I can understand the perspective of wanting to go through life without thinking about all this constantly and without always bringing it up. Sure. I'm talking about people who never bring it up, who watch Love Island, trade Pokemon cards, will just move from fantasy football to fantasy baseball to fantasy basketball, so they never have to engage in the fact that we are critically losing what it means to be a dignified human being in this world. We're in a pincer, right? We have old politicians that are out of touch pushing us to AI, which is a spiked door that's moving towards us, right? There's jackals behind us and there's oblivion in front. And the thing is, and there's depictions of this when oxen are chased by wolves. If the oxen were smart enough to all turn around and show their horns at once, the wolves would be cowed. If we were willing to be like, no, we're not okay with the only jobs in society being fascist brown shirts, stormtroopers, right? Literally Andor. If you're watching that, that is what's happening now. You can either get with the Imperium, the Empire, or you can die. And it's eugenics at the end of the day. If we're really boiling it down to its base components, if you kill all the most vulnerable people of society by taking away their ability to get health care, you are culling people, right? This is no different than the Trail of Tears or some shit. This is incredibly targeted. It's the imperial boomerang. It's what we saw in El Salvador. It's what we saw in Palestine being enacted on us. We are now going to be occupied by our own government. We are now going to have, did you guys see Alligator Alcatraz? We are now going to have prisons that we didn't even think were allowed under like the Geneva Convention. Torture came back under Bush. It's going to be ramped up under Trump. I really lament the fact that I probably won't be able to leave America for much longer, just based on what my social media is and who I am. I looked myself up using the AI with Instagram, and it gave a very concise depiction of my career thus far. I didn't even know I had a career, right? But it summed it up. I was like, what the fuck is this shit, right? There's a digital profile being created through all of us with Palantir, and all of these people have solidarity, right? The government, the rich, they have solidarity. So we need solidarity. I am telling you guys over and over and over again, join up with an organization so that when you go to jail, when you are rounded up, when you are questioned, there are people that you fundamentally trust, because we are waving goodbye, or at least I am, to the friends that aren't going to critically engage in the fact that we are facing a polycrisis, environmental degradation, a loss of free will, and of course, the inability now to ally your identity to the job that you work. And that is something that's so new, and then it went away, right? That happened under mercantilism, under capitalism, right? You associated yourself with your work more than anything else. That defined you more than whether you were a father or a good church-going member of society. It's like, no, I do IT infrastructure repair, or I'm a coder, or I work at Starbucks, right? That's the first question you get asked in our society is, what is your job? And our jobs are going away with also the social safety net at the same time. So this is the end of capitalism as we know it. And the only way to fight that is with socialism, is with communism. It's with finding people in your community. Ask people, right? Do away with the pleasantries. Do you think fascism is coming? Ask people in your life that. If they say no, then they are either really dumb, right? Or they don't want to believe what is going to happen soon. And it's up to people like me, the white people, right, to put my neck the furthest out. There are all these, there's just, And look, there's a lot of reason to be hopeful. Zoran Mamdani, socialist mayor of New York, I helped work on his campaign, helped get him elected. But they, again, the capitalist class, the political establishment, the Democrats, and the billionaires that own them are going to try and excise him from the political process in the same way they did to Jeremy Corbyn in Britain, in the same way they did to Bernie Sanders here in America. And he's not advocating for anything radical. He's advocating for 2% tax for millionaires, right? Which is $20,000 if you make $1 million, right? And they get to use this amazing workforce that they have. All of us that make society worth living, because they usually have the personality of saltine crackers. All the shows they want to go to, the burlesque shows, the stand-up comedy, the art galleries, the fun bars at the beaches here in New York. All of that is run by young, or if not young, at least young at heart, and idealistic people that give the city flavor, that are getting stomped out by their class. And they can't imagine a world where it was just them, but that's what they want. And if they do get what they want, it'll be a hell of their own making, because then they're going to have to confront themselves, and there's nothing there. And being rich doesn't mean anything if you don't have people that you're better than. That's what it's all fucking about. It's all about comparison. That's what Jeff Bezos' and Lauren Sanchez's wedding was about. It was like, we're here, you're there. It's about being fussed over. It's about it's about being heliocentric. You're the sun in the universe, and we all orbit around you. You want to blow up all the planets, though. And what do blown up planets turn into? Fucking meteorites, all right? That are going to rain down on you. Gah! It's so frustrating. But people have to wake up. And I will continue to shout into what is increasingly less of the void. What is amazing about doing this is that you will meet people in your life, if you do this enough, that ally with you. I'm meeting someone tomorrow for coffee that want to fight back. And we can organize and we can show people over and over again that socialist policies work and are better than this hellscape. And this big, beautiful bill is the final death nail. It is going to deregulate AI, open up public lands for drilling, cut taxes for billionaires, and do away with food benefits. And of course, the thing that I'm most worried about is it gives $45 billion to ICE, right? And that is a federal workforce that is going to increasingly, in the age of AI, in the age of mass unemployment, that is going to be the only way to a stable living under this version of the future that we're confronting right now, which is capitalism, right? Which is unfettered fascism. You can be a cop or you can die. Is that a world you want? No. And we're not going to let it happen. I won't be living under fascism, right? Interpret that how you will, but I am not going to do it. I'm going to fight like hell to stop it. And I want you guys to join me too. All right. That's it.